So in this recording, I am going to share my exploration with the latest image generation model in the API. So this image generation was introduced in ChatGPT last month, and I was playing with it in ChatGPT. Uh, 3 days back, 23rd, I think 23rd of April is when this image generation model that was uh, inbuilt within ChatGPT. This is now available as an API via GPT-image-1, and this is what I explored. Now, like any of the other generative AI models, these are all stochastic, right? So what I found out is, without human in the loop, um, your images may not be correct at the first time, right? You still need to guide the model to give you what you want, right? Before I show what I explored, let me go to that API, right, and see what this API does. So this is the endpoint to call that model. This endpoint was already there, like earlier. If you have played with DALI 2 or DALI 3, you might have used the same generation endpoint. Now, GPT image 1 is also, you can also call this model through this API. Now, what are the parameters in the request body parameters? So you can specify a background for the transparency, and it will work for a certain type of output format only, like PNG and WebP. The model earlier, it was DALI 2, DALI 3. Now you have GPT image 1. The defaults, this API defaults to DALI 2. The moderation, how do you control the moderation? Uh, if you are like low or for less restrictive filtering or auto. N is how many numbers of images that you want to create. So for GPT image 1, we can specify this parameter and you can create between 1 and 10. DALI 3 only 1 is supported. Output compression, right? If you want to compress the output, right? And the output compression is supported for GPT image 1 with this two response format only, WebP and JPEG. And then the output format must be either PNG, JPEG, or WebP. Quality, you can go with the auto, which is the default mode. Will automatically select the best quality for the given model. Uh, Otherwise, you can, for GPT image 1, you can say high, medium, or low. DALI 3, DALI 2 are like HDN standard for DALI 3 and standard for DALI 2, right? The response format, um, um, so for GPT image 1, this response format is not supported. For GPT image 1, it will always return a base 64 encoded image, right? The size, I can say whether I need a portrait or a landscape mode, right? And the style um, is only supported for DALI 3, like whether you need a vivid or a natural style. And the user, like if you want uh, to know which user created it, you can put a unique identifier, right? That is all about the URL. Now let's see how I created that. So I already created some images, but okay, before that, let me show you the use case. And um, I see that there is a lot of potential, or like it can uh, augment the human potential to a different level, right? But human should still be in and between the loop to ensure that we guide this generative models to do whatever we wanted to do, right? So here what I did is, like, as an architect, I want to create a sequence diagram. I'll prompt it to create a sequence diagram and give it a scenario for that sequence diagram. This is GPT-4.1. It will create the sequence diagram, right? So that is one thing that I tried. And then the other one is, if I have a sequence diagram already, let's say this is a sequence diagram I have already, can I prompt a GPT 4.1 and this is a GPT 4.1 mini model that I used, GPT 4.1 to create the plant UML uh, code for that sequence diagram, right? Um, what I found out is sometimes it is creating a good code. Sometimes you need to make some changes and all, right? But it is still much better than having nothing, right? I now as an architect, I don't have to start from the scratch, right? I'll get something to work with and further modify by giving feedback to the model, right? It becomes kind of my assistant, right? So let's look at the code now. So this is the first one. This is this part here, right? Where um, I use the OpenAI client. If I use the OpenAI client, then I say client.images.generate. This is where I give the model name gpt-image-1, right? My prompt, this is my prompt. I'm developing an application where a user will hit a chatbot URL. The URL will then call a LLM-based chat application running in a Kubernetes pod on AWS Kubernetes service. Any exception from the pod will be pushed to CloudWatch. Aurora PG vector is a vector database. Please create me a UML sequence diagram which must use AWS icons, right? And then since I said n equal to 3, so n equal to 3, I should have one more. I could have done it in using a for loop, but I'm lazy. I didn't do that. So 0, 1, 2, right? So this is the first image. This is the second image. This is the third image. And let me write that into a, let me delete this two, which I already created. Oops, it takes some time to create the images, right? So let me run it. So now when I run it, it will create three images because I have n equal to 3. Now, one thing is before you can use this model in your organization, there is a process to verify your organization. So I have to verify my organization. It's pretty straightforward. The UI guides you how to verify your organization. You'll have to give an ID, take a photograph of the ID and verify you. I think that is for the security purposes, right? So people should not be creating images which are uh, not suitable, right? So that probably is a reason to verify the organization, right? So outputs are created. Let's see the first image. Chatbot your call chat application process not correct, right? Not at all correct, right? This one call pod. This is also not correct, right? Not see MPZA. So yeah, but it is much better than what I earlier saw with DALI 2, DALI 3, right? At least this chatbot URL, right? These are correct, right? Let me see the third one. No, this is not better, right? So that is what I say, like that most of the generative AI models are predicting the next sequence based on the earlier sequence. It is unable to understand in world model, right? It doesn't give you the next world state like how humans do, right? You need to enable it with a world model, right? Sometimes that world model can come from us giving it a feedback because that world model is in our brain, right? We try to give that world model while we are interacting with the assistant, right? Or you put it through a knowledge graph, pre-built smaller world models, right? So that's why like humans should always be in the loop and between the loop for these things because the the knowledge of the world model can be given by us only. This models, the generative AI models, doesn't have understanding of the world model, which we have very good understanding, right? Okay, so that is something that that's a separate discussion, and I have a lot of things to talk about that. Um, but this recording is not for that, right? This recording to just to see what is possible, right? And what we can take back to what we are doing and then use it for our purpose, right? So this is the first part where we created the image. Then let me go to this part where I'll give the image to GPT 4.1 mini and try to create a plant UML, right? Let me take this image, right? So copy the path reference and I have this program here. I will give the image path. This is also a very simple program. What I'm doing is I am calling this function here, which I've written to read the image and create an encoded image byte, right? Which I will then pass to. So GPT 4.1 mini is what I'm using. I'm passing it to the chat.completions.create, but it's a multi-model multimodal model now. So this is my prompt. This is the encoded image bytes that I get. Sorry, this is the encoded image byte that I get. Detail is high, max token is 300. And this is where I pass the GPT 4.1 mini model and return the response, right? Once I get the response by calling that ask images, I print the content, right? Let's see. This is the prompt, right? I'm providing you an image of a sequence diagram in UML. Please generate the plant UML code for this diagram. Let's see what it does, right? And we'll put that into plant UML and see how whether it is able to give me a correct code, the first code, right? So this is what it created for me. Let me take this. Although like it is not 100% right, but let's see if at least, yep. So it actually is able to give us, although this is not a very good UML diagram, but the user hitting the chatbot calls a pod. The query should have been in the pod, like somehow it should have, right? Yeah, and then it should have gone to that. So everything it has moved into one box. That's why the human in the loop is required. But even this is much, much powerful, right? So I can actually, if I create a conversation, multi-turn conversational UI, now I can converse with the language model, give it the world model that I have in my brain, and try to guide it to follow that world model, right? But that's all I wanted to show. That's my exploration of GPT 4.1 image and just show like one way of using it. Thank you.